All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving deep into the FIDIC Red Book, and we're tackling a big one, Clause 6. This is all about the rules for the single most critical part of any construction project, the people.
So, let me ask you a question. What's the single biggest risk you're managing out there on site? We spend ages thinking about materials, the machinery, the designs, but what's the one thing that's the most unpredictable, and honestly, the most important?
Yep, you guessed it. It's the human element. It's the team, the actual people who turn those plans and drawings into a real, standing structure. Getting the people part right is, quite literally, the difference between a project succeeding or failing. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Look, a project is only ever as good as the people building it. They are your most valuable asset, hands down. They bring the skill, the expertise, the problem solving. But they're also your biggest variable. They introduce risk, whether it's through simple error, a conflict, or even misconduct.
And this isn't just a management theory, it's a core contractual principle. This quote from FIDIC makes it absolutely crystal clear. The contractor is on the hook for the adequacy, the stability, and the safety of all site operations. And who carries out those operations? People. It all comes back to the people.
So how does the contract actually handle this huge, critical human element? Well, that's where Clause 6 comes in. The best way to think about it is like the project's own dedicated HR manual. It lays out all the rules of engagement for every single person on that site. First things first, let's be super clear about who we're talking about. The term contractor's personnel is incredibly broad. It covers everyone from the top dog, the contractor's representative, all the way down to the newest laborer working for a subcontractor. Basically, if they are on site and working for the contractor in any capacity, Clause 6 applies to them.
And wow, just look at this list. The framework is exhaustive. It covers everything. You can almost group these into different themes, right? You've got clauses about fairness and legality, things like engagement, wages, and following the law. Then you've got a whole chunk on welfare and safety, facilities and health. And finally, you have the clauses about performance and keeping things in order, supervision, records, and conduct. It really is a complete system.
Okay, so let's break down some of the most important responsibilities here. This section really gets into the nitty-gritty of what the contractor is contractually obligated to do for their entire team. And it all starts with the absolute basics. Subclause 6.1 puts the responsibility squarely on the contractor to handle everything from the actual hiring and paying of their people to making sure they have their fundamental needs met, like a place to stay and a way to get to work. This isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a foundational duty.
Next up, fair pay. This is huge. The contract is designed to make sure workers aren't exploited. Wages have to meet the legal standards, and they can't be lower than what's normal for the local industry. This stops that race to the bottom and helps keep a stable, motivated workforce. And you know what? A motivated team does better work and causes fewer delays. It's that simple.
Now this one's interesting because it's a two-way street. Neither the contractor nor the employer is allowed to poach staff from the other side. Think of it as a professional rule of conduct. It's there to stop disruptions and maintain a stable professional environment for the whole project team.
You know, FIDIC contracts don't exist in a bubble. Subclause 6.4 makes it totally explicit. The contractor must obey all relevant national and local labor laws. We're talking about everything from employment and safety to immigration. Compliance isn't just a good idea, it's a non-negotiable part of the contract.
The contractor's concern for people goes beyond the 9 to 5. It gets into their living conditions. The contractor is on the hook for providing and maintaining proper facilities. Why? Because a team that's well looked after is a team that's productive and safe. This clause makes sure that standard is met.
And the commitment to safety goes deep. I mean, we're not just talking about wearing hard hats and high-vis vests. The contract demands a really proactive approach to health, requiring specific medical provisions like having staff on site, a sick bay, and even ambulance services ready to go.
Of course, sometimes things do go wrong with people. Subclause 6.9 gives the engineer the authority to step in and demand the removal of someone from the site. But, and this is important, it's not arbitrary. There are clear, defined reasons for it, from incompetence all the way to misconduct, which ensures the process is structured and fair.
You know the saying, if it isn't written down, it didn't happen. Transparency is absolutely key. Subclause 610 forces the contractor to keep detailed records of who's on site, what equipment is running, and what materials are being used. This data is absolutely vital for you, the engineer, to verify progress, assess any claims, and just make sure the project is running like it should.
The contractor's responsibility doesn't stop at the site gates either. They have to actively work to keep the peace and maintain order among their staff, which protects not only the project itself, but also the community around it.
Okay, we've reviewed the rules, we've seen what the contractor has to do, but what does all of this actually mean for you, the engineer, out there on the ground? Let's boil this down into some real-world actionable takeaways.
Because this is where the contract stops being a document and starts being your day-to-day toolkit. Clause 6 isn't just something for the contractor to read. It's for you, the engineer, to know and to enforce. Your job is to be the eyes and ears of the contract on site.
So here's your playbook. You need to be actively monitoring compliance. You need to be doing regular inspections of those welfare and safety facilities. You have to review those personnel records we talked about to make sure they're accurate. Document everything, especially personnel issues. And when you see non-compliance, you have the power under subclause 6.9 to act decisively. This is how you take the contract off the page and put it into practice.
And never ever forget the authority that you have. This quote is your mandate. You have both the power and the responsibility to make sure that every single person on that site is competent, compliant, and conducting themselves in a safe and professional way.
So at the end of the day, Clause 6 isn't just a list of rules. It's really a blueprint for building a professional, safe, and effective project team. It recognizes that big, complex structures are built by people, and how you manage those people is the true foundation of your project's success. So the next time you're on site, ask yourself that question. How strong is your team? Thanks for joining me.